In order to make the right decisions, you have to understand something. If you don't understand something at a detailed level, you cannot make a decision. I'm not sure if looking at competitors really helps. It's sort of like the old adage of running. If you start looking at the other runners, it's not good. You know, starting a business is not for everyone. Generally, starting a business, I'd say number one is to have a high pain threshold. If you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. Great companies are built on great products. When the product starts to become shoddy and uncompetitive, so does the company. Really pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it, particularly from friends. Life can't be just about solving problems. There have to be things that are exciting and inspiring that make you glad to be alive. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual player will often win, but then there's a multiplier from how those players work together and the strategy they employ. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. Man has the power to act as his destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you have done and how you could be doing it better. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with the horse?" That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Constantly seek criticism. A well thought out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. There is this little candle of consciousness on Earth. It hasn't been around for very long, and it could easily go out. It could be a meteor, extreme climate change, who knows, a third world war. Clearly, we need to preserve the light of consciousness into the future by becoming a multi-planet species, expecting life beyond Earth. Patience is virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be inspiring, even if it is vicarious. If the rules are such that you can't make progress, then you have to fight the rules. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. If you need inspiring words, don't do it. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you can do things better and question yourself. I started to read the Encyclopedia Britannica. That was so helpful. You don't know what you don't know. You realize there are all these things out there. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. When somebody has a breakthrough innovation, it is rarely one little thing. Very rarely is it one little thing. It's usually a whole bunch of things that collectively amount to a huge innovation. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. It's very important to like the people you work with. Otherwise, life and your job is gonna be quite miserable. I believe there's some explanation for this universe, which you might call God. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. Keep questioning yourself.